Hey there, this is Chris Behling with 10 Pound Gorilla, and in this video we're going to take a look at a very useful set of DNN SQL scripts that we can run to identify unique instances of a module. And when we are building out websites in DNN, it's very common that we'll have shared modules or building blocks that we use across the website. So if we go over to this website here, in the footer we have a contact form. This is using action form, and this module is set to show up on every page. One of the items in our checklist before we ever launch a website is to go through and review every form on the site and to make sure that they are all going to the right recipient, that the correct users are receiving those emails. And we don't ultimately need to check every single page where this particular form lives. Because it is a shared module, it's all using the same set of code and logic. So we really only need to validate this in one place. But I want to double check and make sure that there are no other contact forms or forms in general that we need to validate as part of our go live process. So having a good way to find those would save me a ton of time. So if we go into the extensions section in DNN, we can see all of the modules that we have installed on the site, and we have action form listed here. It does tell us, yes, it is in use. This is helpful. If I click on that, it's going to tell me all of the pages that DNN is identifying that module in use. And so this is really helpful in some instances, so I can just go straight down the list, open up these tabs, and view that module. But again, because this form is showing up on every page, I probably don't need to check these individually, and that's just going to create some overhead. And 37 pages, not terrible to do manually, but when you're talking about a site that may have hundreds of pages, that adds a very significant overhead for it. So what would be ideal is to have a way to identify unique instances of modules. And luckily, when you share a module on a page, it gets a shared identifier. So any update applies to all of those instances, and we only need to filter down some of that noise. And so what we're going to start with here is if I go into my SQL console here, I have pulled up in the DNN settings, host level users can run these scripts. And so I have three scripts we're going to take a look at here. So the first one is I need to track down the module definition ID, which is the unique module that we're using, or we're going to run some queries against. So in this case, action form has a unique module identifier. And so we can filter down to find all action form modules. And so the best way to do that is just to inspect the module that we're looking at here. So in this case, again, we're doing action form. I can go in and kind of search around for the module container in code. And so there's a DNN module hyphen and then the module ID output in the page. And so this is module ID 954. And so if I take that value in my SQL script, and I'm just jumping through tabs here, this first script is going to return all of the modules that contain that module ID of 954. Now, what we can do from that then is get our module definition ID, and that is 125. So any module that has a definition ID of 125 is an action form module. And quick glance as we scan through this is returning 38 modules for us. It is saying there are 38 instances of action form on the website, very similar to what we're seeing in the persona bar when we're looking at the listing of modules. In this case, there are 37 that the website is reporting back. If we were to filter down by the is deleted parameter, we're going to see that one of these modules is currently deleted and excluded from that listing in the extension section. Now, with that information, we can do a select all from the view tab modules where the module definition ID is 125. And then we can also do another filter looking at a specific portal. This is a multi-portal site, so we don't ultimately need any of the data from other portals on the website. This doesn't give us much more information than what we currently have. Instead, it's going to tell us any other modules outside of just module ID 954 that exist in this data set. And in this case, we're getting 40, but again, we're not currently filtering down by modules that have been deleted or not. And so we have this other query here starting on line 3, moving down to line 4, where we're doing a select distinct. And so we're going to say, hey, give us only the unique modules that meet this criteria. And then what we want from the record set is just return for us the module ID, the tab ID, which is the page that this module lives on, and then the module title. And there's a wrapping min declaration for the parameter that we're returning. We're saying, hey, return the first tab ID that we find and return the first module title that we find whenever we encounter a duplicate record. And then again, we're going to select this from the view tab module. And then I'm just going to put in some filters and exclusions. We only want modules for this specific portal that we're working with. We only want modules that are that definition 125. So again, being action form. And then we're only going to return ones that are not currently deleted. So we want active modules. And then we are going to group by that module ID. So this is going to filter down only the unique module instances. So we've already ran this query a couple times now, but if we run it again and we go over to query 3 tab, our record set is going to return 2 tabs where it is identifying unique action form modules. And so the first one being returned is 954, which is the first one we identified on the home page. And so that is the first one we want to validate and make sure that that is working as we expect it to. And if we take this example documentation here, we can put in a modified URL, which is default.aspx, and tab ID equals whatever that tab ID is returned from your query. And DNN will load that page for you. So if we go back, just open up this tab here, and I'm going to close my browser. And I can go to the root of the site, even though this is a cross-portal or multi-portal site, I can do default.aspx. I'm going to save that. And the tab that we're looking for in this case is 115. So I can run this query. It's going to take me to the contact page. This makes sense. We have a contact form on this page. So I know that I need to go in and validate this contact form, make sure that the recipients for any notifications or processes are ready to go and set for launch. Pretty quick process to get in place. We're really just running 2 different queries to get the specific module definition ID, and then we're going to run that against our portal account to receive those unique instances. And this is something that you can run for different modules. We can occasionally run this for something like Easy DNN News, where we want to identify all core module instances where we may have display views being used. Maybe we want to go through and audit what are the different templates that we're using. So we can find different instances for those, track that down, and start to make modifications. And so running these queries allows us to put in a little bit of automation and avoid a lot of manual process of reviewing page by page. If you have any questions about working with DNN SQL Console or just working with some of the data in DNN, feel free to reach out. You can send any request to help@10poundgorilla.com. Thanks so much for your time.
Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our Gorilla Learning Lab. We have a lot more banana tidbits for you to get ape over. Check out our other videos or visit our website at www.10poundgorilla.com. I'm swinging on out of here.
Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You're not subscribed? That's bananas!